Hey guys, All in Crypto here, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. This is a much awaited video that I have been meaning to do for a while now. So today we're going to get into it, and we're of course going to be covering Meld. We're going to be answering and asking a number of questions, such as what is Meld, what could the value of Meld be, is it a safe project to get into, what are the risks associated with it, some of the tokenomics, etc. We're going to look at the white paper. We're really going to be doing a somewhat comprehensive overview of this project. We have mentioned Meld on a number of occasions, along with Liquid and a few more of the dApps that are going to come out of the Cardano ecosystem. Meld is an interesting one, guys, because you guys will know on this channel that I'm a big fan of Compound and Aave, which are borrowing and lending protocols. Meld is essentially similar, however, with a twist, and we're going to get into what that twist is and why this is interesting. So the first place to start, I suppose, is what is Meld? So we'll give their definition. Meld is a decentralized and trustless lending protocol built on the Cardano blockchain using smart contracts and governed by the Meld token. It provides a fast, safe, and transparent set of tools for anyone to lend and borrow crypto and fiat, and that's where the twist is. With both Aave and Compound, I can only borrow crypto. I can't deposit my crypto into these protocols and borrow fiat in my bank account, whereas Meld is actually bridging that gap between the crypto world and the fiat traditional kind of banking system. Now, there are implications and ramifications that come with this, which we'll get into in a second. Meld lends fiat currencies provided by fiat lenders to borrowers that collateralize their crypto in a Meld smart contract. The lender receives an interest rate for securing the investment, whilst the borrower can manage their crypto position and see them grow, which has had an average annual rate of 32%. BTC is 196%. We stake the collateral in the community managed liquidity pool for our own revenue, which is divided 50 to Meld and 50 to the Meld token holder. So you get a dividends almost paid out for being a Meld holder. This is extremely interesting, and one reason I like Compound and Aave so much is because what they allow me to do, and Meld is also going to allow you to do this, is they allow me to not sell my crypto. I think cash is trash, guys. I want crypto. So what I can do is I can hold my crypto and get a loan against it. We did a bit of a strategy where we took loans out on Compound and Aave, betting on the price of crypto going up. We're still in that stage. It's done quite nicely since we announced that. However, essentially what we did was we deposited in these protocols. We borrowed USDC against them, and then we went and purchased more crypto with that, which is not something I'm recommending. But the concept that why this is so brilliant and why these protocols are so brilliant is because they allow you to keep your underlying asset. You will know that rich people out there own assets and they borrow cash against it. They don't do it the other way around. And that's because assets appreciate, cash depreciates in value. So this is an extremely interesting token. We're going to get into the white paper in just a second. Now, how do you get into this project right now? Well, it's currently in an ISPO phase, which is initial stake pool offering. So instead of you staking to a Cardano pool, you will stake to the Meld pools, and you will essentially lock your crypto up and receive Meld instead of the Cardano reward. So the Meld protocol get your rewards that you would get for staking your Cardano in Cardano, and they give you Meld in return. Now, there are a few issues with this that I should talk about, and I've not heard anybody mention. You can't, apparently, if you're a US citizen, get into the ISPO, or you can, but it's not sort of, it's not really it's not legal necessarily, or it's not that it's illegal, it's more of a grey area because they have licenses or they have sort of regulatory clarity in Singapore and Switzerland. Their legal teams have essentially said, look, we think this is legal, but the US can't gain access to this kind of an initial offering. So it's all a little bit skewed. There are other ways you can do it. You know, there's something called a VPN, which I wouldn't recommend anybody does, but it's not on Meld to essentially stop the United States from, or citizens of the United States from getting into this. It's up to the actual stake pools and the Cardano blockchain. So it's a bit of a grey area, is what I'm trying to say. So I'm sure if you really wanted to, you could. I don't know if it's illegal. I just think it's not. You know, you shouldn't be doing it. It's kind of like Binance having Binance US instead of US users just being able to use the normal Binance. It's that kind of a thing. This is the Meld roadmap. So Q2, which we're currently in, you've got the Meld launch, initial stake pool offering, token private sale, launch of marketing initiatives, and partner program launch. Q3, we have the Meld app launch. Beta testing of the Meld app begins on the mobile and Chrome. Meld app multi-crypto wallets, support, and etc. etc. Come over to the Meld protocol. One thing I will say is if you think that this bull run is going to come to an end at some point, so whether you follow the Bitcoin 4-year cycle theory or the lengthening cycle theory, this project will not really be fully rolled out, or at least on a kind of protocol level until 2022. So bear that in mind. This is the kind of main man here. I've watched a number of interviews. He was involved very heavily in 2007 with a lot of ICOs, which kind of makes me a little bit weary. I have to give a fair opinion on this because there is, in my opinion, a lot more risk with jumping into a protocol and an app this early in its development than there is investing in something like Cardano, which is why we've only staked to the stake pool a very small amount. The stake pool started in July and will end in December, and then you'll have the private sale, which I will more aggressively go after the private sale. I'm going to say that right now. I enjoy staking Cardano. I'm very happy with my Cardano. I don't want to touch it. So I've only allocated, I think, a very small amount, around about 750 Cardano to the ISPO. And this is really just on a punt, if you will. I will probably buy significantly more Meld at the private sale, and we'll get into that. So this is the kind of main man. I think they're centered in Singapore, I believe. And like I say, there is that bit of a grey area with the US getting in because they apparently can't really or shouldn't be taking part in these kind of offerings. It's a bit of a no-no. So Meld works. You take out your loan. Essentially, you deposit your crypto into the protocol and you can borrow fiat against it. And that fiat will actually be deposited directly into your bank account, which for me is the future. This is where this is going. The same way you can borrow against houses and get cash in your bank account, or you can borrow against stocks, or you can borrow against precious metals. I think you will be able to do a similar thing with crypto. This is the way the future is moving towards, and we're still so early. $1.56 trillion market cap. Trillions are yet to flow into this space, and this is just one protocol within. So let's take a little look at the white paper. The main thing I actually want to focus on is the tokenomics, because this is going to give us an idea of perhaps where the price may be. You can't really say right now. One thing I will say is that these protocols, these borrowing and lending protocols, and we're going to look at Compound and Aave, tend to do quite well for early investors. And that's, even though there is more risk in getting into an early project like this, there is significantly more reward because these things can grow, from essentially a very small market cap to your billions like Aave and Compound. And we'll get into that in a second. I just want to show you some of the tokenomics. Risk management, no, here we are. So the tokenomics protocol function, the Meld protocol is building the core DeFi infrastructure on Cardano by offering a list of services at the heart of decentralized finance. Below is a list of the services and a brief explanation of how they function. This is Meld, they lending, Meld vaults, Meld staking pool, the Meld token. Now this is what we want to get into because we're going to go over the actual supply. There is a fixed supply of 4 billion Meld. Now the supply of, and we're really comparing it with other lending and borrowing protocols out there. The supply of Compound is only 5 million, and I believe Aave is less. Aave is 12 million. So significantly higher supply than both Compound and Aave. The Meld token is a multi-purposed token on the Meld protocol. Its core functions are protocol governance, incentivization, free reductions, and protocol insurance. Our token is the medium of exchange under the Meld protocol. Token holders are given incentives to not only utilize their Meld token when desirable, but maintain a minimum balance to maximize their future earnings under the protocol. To maintain holding, utilization, staking provides an annual percentage yield, APY, and fee reductions, further strengthening the function of the Meld as a utility for lending and long-term appreciation. Additionally, once reaching a significant milestone of decentralization, introducing protocol governance requires maintaining at least a certain fraction of the total supply. The protocol has a fixed supply of 4 billion Meld tokens and deflationary mechanisms of buybacks and liquidity pool yield. The initial distribution is, and here you go. So there's actually going to be more in the private sale than there is in the ISPO. The reason I've only got around about 750 in the ISPO is because it's still a very early project. I was going to put significantly more in, essentially 10 times that. However, I'd rather wait and kind of follow the roadmap a little bit before diving in with that sort of, I know that's not a great deal, 7,500, but I'd rather wait and look at the private sale, see how that goes, and kind of follow the progress of this, because there's a lot more risk. I like my Cardano too much to part with a great sum of it, even though there is obviously a huge potential reward attached with getting into a project as early as this. Now, in regards to price, one thing I will say is we're going to look at Compound here and Aave, because these are two good projects to kind of compare it to. If we look, this was sort of the launch of Aave. What typically happens is they sell off. I am kind of hoping that this happens. This is kind of the initial public launch, and then you can see this is typical with stocks. Anything that goes public for the first time, there'll be a buying spree, and then it will kind of sell off as the demand kind of whittles away. But essentially, if you got into these projects early enough, let's take Aave, for example, you can see the rewards are insane, guys. Even if you got it at the time that it was kind of published, you've still got some pretty, 13x. And if you bought it right at its lows, you can see the kind of reward. So Meld could, in my opinion, Compound is much and such the same. Not as didn't kind of make as much as, I think they kind of released their coins in a different manner. So a 10x for Compound really since it's kind of bottom. So nothing too crazy, but this is what I mean. Is Meld going to be the most successful project out of here? Well, it's going to be one of the earliest, and one thing that we do know is, such as Ethereum, the first smart contract protocol, has done very well as a result of it. So there are pros and cons. This is what I want to drill home. Do your own research. Go and read the white paper. We've read the entire thing. It's only 52 pages. You should always, I know there's so many people out there, and I know this, nobody needs to admit it, that haven't even read the Bitcoin white paper yet. It's a very small white paper. Go and give it a read. You should always read into the projects and do your own research. Don't just listen to somebody on YouTube like myself. We're only here giving you our view and opinion and slant on things. So my overall kind of synopsis for Meld is, it's a project that we're in the stake pool. I will be accumulating more Meld at the private sale. And essentially what I will do is maybe wait for a sell-off and accumulate more. I want to get into this project. I'm very excited from it. I think this is the future. I think the future looks very much like you hold your crypto and you borrow against it and you get cash given to you on the flip side. And you can see there is 255 million Cardano staked right now. So there was a big backlash from the stake pool saying, hang on, you guys are stealing our delegation. You're taking Cardano from our pools, which they get obviously rewarded for running the pools, which is absolutely how it should be. So there was a big backlash, and even the guy, I keep forgetting his name, who is in charge of this and giving the interviews, Ken, he was like, I can totally understand that. But ultimately, guys, this could offer a real opportunity. Remember, it finishes in December. There is still time to get into it. Come over here, go to the ISPO. You've got to put in your details, and it will give you news and updates. And if you want to get in touch or contact them, you've got things here. Also, you can catch them on Twitter, I believe. Go and read the white paper, do some due diligence. Remember, there's a 4 billion supply, so the prices aren't going to be 300 quid or $300 or you know, 150, it'll be a lot less. Compound's now nearly $400, so it'll be a lot less. My guess is that it will be in the sort of $1 range, probably less than that, certainly for a while. So remember, these things usually tend to sell off after they've kind of initially been released. So I'm going to look, personally, this is just what I'm doing to get in when this project's dipped, to get in on the private sale and to get in when the project's dips. You know, I'm not fussed about rushing in. I actually believe that there is a lot of threats to this project. I'm in quite a lot of projects that I haven't even spoke to you guys about, and the reason being is because some of them have literally a $10 million market cap. They're so small. They've only just had audits done that I don't want to come on here as somebody who has a bit of a following and announce these. If you would like me to maybe start to telling you about some of these, I'm more than happy to do it. I just feel responsible because I've been in the crypto space and invested in so many projects that I've took a punt on, delegated, you know, a couple of thousand or 1,000 or whatever it is, and they've just completely flopped and gone to zero. So I'm always looking for the next 100x altcoin, but I don't really say or publicly display it on this channel because I don't want to put any of the listeners of this channel in any kind of a jeopardy. I'm very fortunate in the aspects that I can afford to kind of not waste that money, but take punts on it because I've done so. You know, crypto's brought really changed my life in a lot of ways, and I think it can do the same thing for you. So keep your eyes out for Meld, guys. Go and look at the white paper. It's a borrowing and lending protocol with a twist. They can actually allow you, I think you can borrow up to 50% of the value of your crypto at that time, and they will actually deposit it in your bank. Now, they haven't got banking licenses in the US or UK. We know Aave do. That's one reason why they've done so well. So if Aave can get one, I would assume these guys can, as long as they follow the credentials of what they need. Singapore and Switzerland, I know they're okay in. I think they're based in Singapore. We'll see what happens, guys. And essentially, you've got your private sale. Go and look at the roadmap. We're excited about this, and we think that, you know, we've got examples of projects like this that have done well. This is the first, really, or one of. You've got Liquid as well, which is a similar thing, to come out on Cardano, and I think it's going to do very well as a result of it. Because one thing I will say I hate about using Compound and Aave is if you only have £100 to put in, or dollars, I keep switching between currencies, it kind of rules it out because you're going to be spending nearly half of that on gas fees, and that's before you even get it out into your MetaMask or whatever wallet it is you choose to use. I know that they have got Polygon, which has made things significantly easier. It's very, very cheap. You could farm this at one point for and make quite a lot of Polygon out as a result. But it's still cumbersome, and putting it on Cardano, the blockchain, which we know is going to be a lot more efficient, a lot more cost effective, is brilliant. And this is kind of a visual representation of how they work. I hope you guys have found this interesting. There's so much to go into. In regards to yield, they're on about you lending to the liquidity and gaining rewards from that. So there are ways you can farm it, whether that's lending out your crypto, or whether that's just providing liquidity and gaining rewards as a result. For the transactions that happen, but it's cool. They do have a liquidation process, which is interesting, where you get 3 warnings essentially, instead of something like Compound, where you just go below your 20% APY if you choose to borrow 80, and that's you liquidated. They'll sell off your crypto and you'll get to keep the loan. Works in the same way. You can only borrow half. It is very interesting. You know, we are super interested in this, and this is we like to get into projects whilst they're new, and this is the opportunity. And there are a few more. We're going to make a video on Liquid. We're going to make a video on Emergo because this is interesting. Charles Hoskinson spoke very highly of this himself, and a few other projects here. Maybe some of the Ergo, maybe some of the Oracles. So stay tuned for those, guys. But I just thought this was important to get out. So my main takeaway is there is a lot more risk associated with this. There is clearly quite a high volume already staked in the ISPO. We've got a very small amount on this channel staked, but what we are going to do is buy more in the private sale, and then when it's obviously public, we'll see where the price fares. If it dips, we will accumulate more for the long term. This is more of a long-term hold because the rollout kind of goes into 2022. I could see this project doing well in the future, and I would personally, and this is not financial advice, I'm personally going to invest in it with the outlook of it going up in value. That's all I have for you in this video, guys. I hope you found it useful. That is really all I have. I'm going to love and leave you on that note. If you've enjoyed the content, like, it's always appreciated. So is a comment, and hopefully I will see you all in the next YouTube video. Thanks a lot for watching, guys.